7:45, welcome back to your Monday morning here on BT. Over the weekend, a second walkout took place at the Vancouver Whitecaps game. This was given the club's response to abuse allegations against a former women's soccer coach. The hashtag was walkout35. It was trending online. News 1130's Martin MacMahon joining us. You've been following this story. What did you see with the second walkout? What was different about this experience in BC Place this weekend?
Well, I think the fact that they've continued it shows that there's a real dissatisfaction from the fans, specifically the Southsiders, to the response that the club has provided, or maybe to put it better, the lack of a response. The club has issued statements throughout this whole process since the allegations first came forward in February. They've been described as vague legalese by one season ticket holder I talked to who's canceled his membership over this whole fiasco. So there really hasn't been enough progress from the fan perspective, from the Southsider perspective, and really they're doing this walk in solidarity with these women who have come forward with their allegations against this former coach. And
this was a former women's soccer coach for the Vancouver Whitecaps. The allegations are quite serious. Here's a clip from one of the lead organizers with the Southsiders surrounding the motivation and the importance of having a stance like this. Have a listen.
What we're really interested in is for executives to really start taking ownership of this problem. These are the same executives that were in the club, maybe in different positions, back when this happened in 2008. So these are the people that we need to hear from. They're the people that should be answering questions from the media like you.
And Martin, you've been a champion. I mean, you were one of the first to break this story, hearing words from the organizer. You had the chance to connect directly yourself with Paul and talk about that conversation that was had via email.
Yes, so I spoke with Paul after the meeting that the Southsiders had with the executives, with the leadership of the Whitecaps, ahead of their walkout. And by the sounds of it, the meeting started fairly positively, with the Whitecaps basically implying that they were going to take meaningful action on this issue. But it seems there was a discussion about the Whitecaps really wanted the Southsiders to cancel this walkout that happened on Saturday. And the Southsiders they decided that they would follow through with it anyway, despite this pressure from the club. And they did have consultation with Kira McCormack, I believe, and some of the other women as well. They decided to go ahead with this walkout. And when they informed the club that they were going to continue this walkout, that's when I'm told the conversation soured a little bit. And I'm very curious as to what happens next, because I don't know if what came out of that meeting was enough.
As a passionate fan yourself for the Whitecaps, this is troubling for many. One, hearing the allegations. Two, seeing that it's not being directly addressed in a way they want it to be. What do you think the Southsiders can do? The walkout, should they continue? Should this stance continue to happen until we get an official response from the Whitecaps?
I'll just clarify one point. I've covered the team for many years as a journalist before doing it, and I followed the team's progress, but I wouldn't call myself a fan. I'm just covering this as a journalist, just as a point of clarification there. But I'm very interested as to what the club does next, and I know that there is a real desire from people following this situation to have an executive go in front of the microphones, answer some questions, and specifically with regards to this coach. What did the club know? When did the club get that information? And, once this coach left the team and was coaching young kids after departing the Whitecaps and after departing the Canadian U20 team, why did the Whitecaps allow that to happen? Now, I will clarify that these allegations against this coach have never been proven in court, but the nature of the allegations are disturbing enough that there should have been a conversation about whether or not that coach should still be working in the community with young girls.
The coach in question, have we heard anything in terms of an official response to these allegations?
My understanding is that this coach has not responded to any requests for comment. I have attempted to reach out to this man on several occasions as I've been covering this story. It sounds as if he's choosing to stay quiet on this one.
Well, we're waiting for an official, I guess, to come forward on camera, address the questions. We've seen the statement from the Whitecaps, but overall, if we could look at what could we change about the system so parents know that their children are safe playing in professional sports like this? You've covered it for years. What do you think is the best thing that could be done to change, to learn from this?
Well, I think the big issue that everyone's looking at now is the issue of licensing around coaches. And at what point do you say this person is not qualified, or it's not appropriate for this person to continue coaching kids? You get into a very murky area here, but I think it's something that we need to look at. Is the bar a criminal conviction? Because that's a very high bar. Or is it something lesser? Can we look at Canada Soccer doing an investigation and posting the findings of that publicly? So, for example, something we have in this country in a different area, but also an area where you have a relationship with kids, there's a teacher regulation branch, right? And it is not a criminal investigation. But if a teacher does something inappropriate, that is posted publicly for everyone to know. And if a teacher wants to continue in his or her job, they have to admit responsibility for what they've done if they are found guilty of doing it. And everyone knows that. So they have that in place for teachers. I think they could have something like this in place for coaches.
Well, it's one idea, and I know this conversation is going to continue as people are looking for an official response on camera coming forward, in addition to the statement that's been released from the team. Martin, appreciate you coming by. Appreciate the work and breaking the story and continuing to follow it for us.
Thank you, Reyes.
We'll take a break. Watch